Welcome in. It's time for another edition of the Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network. I'm Jason Longshore. All the soccer news that you need to know for Thursday, January 30th. Atlanta United silly season continues on. It sounds like Miguel Almiron has said his goodbyes to his former teammates at Newcastle. Not sure of the timeline yet, but you probably need to stay tuned and turn those notifications on for Soccer Down here on your social media platforms, for ATL UTD on your social media platforms, and a return is imminent. It sounds like I feel like imminent is the word that has been said more than any other word during this silly season, but I think it actually applies here. I don't know if it applies to Arthur Cabral or Emmanuel Latte Lath. Here's the latest on both of them. Benfica, they won in Turin yesterday over Juventus. Big win for them. That secured knockout rounds in the Champions League for the Eagles. Their win, plus where they finished in the table, have earned them nearly 8 million euros. We'll see if this affects their interest in doing business on Arthur Cabral. They would be selling him at a loss, even with the offer that Atlanta United has reportedly put on the table. Will they be as interested in doing that? Now, he didn't play in the match. He was suspended due to a red card. Benfica getting ready for their return to league action this weekend. On the Emmanuel Latte Lath one, a tweet was put out yesterday, a little after 3 o'clock Eastern time, from Raffaele Amato on Twitter. Exclusive agreement between Middlesbrough and Atlanta for the former Atalanta player Latte Lath, 27.8 million. Didn't say what currency. Agreement also between the striker and Atlanta. And then tagged at Calcio Mercato IT. Raffaele Amato has less than 500 followers. Calcio Mercato has over 120,000. But Calcio Mercato only retweeted the Amato post. They didn't publish it from their own account. And if you remember, Emmanuel Latte Lath's agent is from Italy. Latte Lath is his second most valuable client. His agent, Matias Veneroso, has not posted any pictures on his Instagram account of being in England at all during any of this. He's been in Italy. He was in Turin yesterday because his largest client plays for Juventus. So I don't know. Really strange doings there. But again, news slash reports breaking out of Italy on a player who plays in England and is being chased by a club based in the United States. Draw your own conclusions. I'll leave you to it. While you're doing that, we'll talk about Champions League. Manchester City, they were trailing 1-0 to Club Bruges. They were out of the Champions League at halftime. They scored 3 in the second half. They booked their spot in the knockout round. Now, their reward, the draws on Friday, they're going to find out who they get. It's either Real Madrid or Bayern Munich. Yeah, have fun, Pep. Strong 4-1 win for PSG at Stuttgart. That ensures their knockout round participation. It was fun watching Champions League Decision Day. Goals were flying in all over the place during the 18 games, especially early on. Entertaining. We didn't get quite as much of the drama as we thought. City coming back fairly early in the second half maybe took a little bit away from it. And no wild swings in teams in or out as the games got late. That'll happen. It's look, decision days, you can never guarantee the drama, but I liked the format. I liked that setup especially. I'm a fan of what they did. Did they need to play 8 games, 2 more than they have in the past? I don't know. That's going to be up for everybody else to decide. I know it probably made everybody a little more money. Silly season updates. Aston Villa, Ollie Watkins, his bid from Arsenal has been rejected, £60 million, according to reports. Another bid rejected, Ricardo Pepe, West Ham chasing him. $26 million was the initial bid to PSV. They have turned that down, according to ESPN. Tottenham, Chelsea, I believe Manchester United are all chasing after Matthias Tell from Bayern Munich, 19-year-old forward. He did start for Bayern yesterday. ESPN said all of them are chasing, trying to get this deal done after Tell has pushed for a transfer from Bayern. Manchester United, they are wrapping up their Europa League campaign later today. They have Europa League decision day today as well. They are getting there, according to reports, with Lecce left back Patrick Dorgu, £25.2 million up front. That is a large expenditure. We will see where that goes. AS Monaco, they are closing in on a deal, according to Fabrizio Romano, to get Jordan Henderson from Ajax. Monterrey and Liga MX, they are trying to sign Sergio Ramos as a free agent, according to the club's president. He hasn't played since his contract with Sevilla ended in the spring, and he's 38 years old. Danilo, former Juventus center back, he is signed in Brazil with Flamengo after mutually terminating his deal with Juventus. Neymar, he's going to wear the number 10 at Santos. No surprise there. It's in tribute to Pelé. He'll also take a 90% pay cut from his salary at Al Hilal. And that sounds really, really bad for Neymar. But when you remember how much money he was making at Al Hilal, 9 figures in salary, I think he'll be okay. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, in their pro league, Al Nasser, they have agreed to a 77 million euro deal plus add-ons to sign John Duran from Aston Villa. He played 1 year at Chicago Fire. Chicago Fire got a large transfer from Aston Villa for Duran. They're going to get a very large sell-on fee as well, likely making that outgoing transfer the largest in Major League Soccer history. On the coaching side, Steven Gerrard, he has asked to leave Al Ettifaq for personal reasons. He's back in Europe. Niko Kovac will take over at Borussia Dortmund, his first gig since leaving Wolfsburg in March of last year. On the women's side, their window is closing, I believe, today. Chloe Kelly in Manchester City, it's not going to end well. She made a post yesterday, said that some of Manchester City's conduct during this transfer window has affected her mental health. She's going to leave at the end of her contract this summer, and she claimed that some of the offers for potential exits for her were not taken by the club, and she's going to have to play her contract out. It's part of sports. It's part of the soccer world with the way transfers work. You shouldn't have the situation where you just break contracts and can leave. You're never going to have that. But should clubs hold on to players that they're not going to play? Ideally, no. But when it's Manchester City and Manchester United is the club that is trying to get Chloe Kelly, it is a little more complicated. I think this is a very complicated situation all the way around. And hopefully, Kelly, a player that I really, really enjoy, I hope that things work out for her to leave City and not have to kind of suffer the rest of this season out and not be playing and not be first choice and not get those opportunities. We'll see. Still some time in the window for her. Crystal Dunn, according to The Guardian, is set to have a medical at PSG today. Her contract was terminated by mutual decision with Gotham yesterday. And I mentioned Crystal Dunn's, it was actually on Tuesday, sorry. And I mentioned Crystal Dunn's Instagram post that there's probably a little more to that. And I don't know when we'll hear that, but I'm sure we will get that tea here at some point. Updates on MLS Season Pass as the MLS regular season is right around the corner. Some big announcements yesterday. A Sunday night soccer package. I like it. I like the idea of having a big time game each week. Could have done it on Friday. I'm good with it being on Sunday. You're going to have pre and post game shows as well. You're going to have remote broadcasts as well. And this came out, it was in a press briefing. MLS and Apple Media executives announced that some commentary teams will cover the games on both Saturdays and Sundays, broadcasting from the studios in Miami. I wonder if that's at Vista in Fort Lauderdale. I'm not sure. Um, in the first 2 seasons of the deal, every MLS game has had broadcasters on site. Now you won't. And I wonder how they're going to pick and choose that and what all that's going to look like. You can do a good broadcast remote. It is more difficult. There's just no way around it. And I believe Apple said it wasn't a cost-cutting measure. I mean, there's no other way to describe it. And I know that you don't want to say bad news, and I get it, but you're not doing it to improve the quality because it doesn't. Can it still be really good? Yes, I think there is a perception out there that you can't do a good remote broadcast. That's not true. But it's a very different kind of broadcast, and it can be challenging, and there's going to be some moments in games that maybe are not handled as well as they could be. Flashback to the San Jose Atlanta United game from 2018, where we were on site for radio and we were able to describe all of the VAR madness and all of the chaos, where the English language TV broadcast from 2 was not on site and did not know what was happening in those moments. So It takes more work in some ways to have a good remote broadcast. The league also announced the return of a T-Mobile promotional offer. T-Mobile and Metro by T-Mobile customers, including businesses, can get complimentary access to MLS Season Pass. This was a deal that they did in 2023. It didn't continue last year. It's back. Partnership with Comcast Xfinity and DirecTV. You're going to be able to watch those games on Comcast, on DirecTV, just like other league packages. You can sign up through those services as well. That's an addition. Comcast subscribers will also have free access to MLS 360 without a season pass subscription. Kind of like Red Zone, like getting there. I like some of these additions. There's also some reports out there internationally that Apple might be sub-licensing some licensing some of their international rights in different markets to grow that aspect of it. In those reports, based out of the UK right now, Apple's happy with the domestic US audience that they're getting. They want to grow it internationally and they're trying to figure out ways to do that. Updates around MLS. Peruvian media reported yesterday that the scoreless draw between Miami and Universitario in Lima last night, highest gate revenue in Peruvian soccer history. Messi played 73 minutes. Miami won a penalty kick shootout after regulation. 80,000 people at the Estadio Monumental. Miami will continue their America's preseason tour, like the Eras tour or something here. It's a preseason schedule. Come on, let's settle down, Miami. They are going to San Pedro Sula on February 8th to face Olympia. Sunday, they're going to be in Panama City to face San Miguelito. Stay in Miami. Federico Higuain is leaving Inter Miami 2. He's headed to Columbus Crew 2 as their new head coach. Legend with Columbus on the playing field. Now he joins the Capybaras. I love that nickname. I wish Atlanta United 2 could have a nickname like that. I keep floating possums out there to people, and it just hasn't taken yet. I would like an Atlanta United 2 possums t-shirt. I would be all in on that. Sheffield Wednesday, they are finalizing a deal to sign Stuart Armstrong from the Vancouver Whitecaps. At Hard Journalist first reported that. Exit Tom Bogert amplified it this morning. Other news, Tanner Tessman, captain of the U.S. U23s at the Olympics. He was voted the 2024 U.S. Soccer Young Male Player of the Year. USL Super League with a big acquisition, Dallas Trinity FC. They signed University of Texas star Lexi Missimo to a 3-year contract. Career leader in points, goals, and assists for the Longhorns. She was part of the U.S. women's national team futures camp, best 11 at the 2022 CONCACAF U20 championship. Hometown team, big signing for Dallas Trinity FC, and it kind of shows where that competition is between USL Super League and NWSL. This is a big mark for USL Super League. One more on the board, a wild 3-3 draw. Go check the highlights last night in Guadalajara. Atlas, led by Diego de la Torre, former Atlanta United assistant coach, because Gonzalo Pineda was serving a red card suspension. They drew with Monterrey. Jeremy Marquez had 2 goals for Atlas, but they needed an equalizer in the 89th minute, and they got it from Brazilian center back Doria. SDH Live coming up at 9:05 this morning. There could be fireworks during the show because it seems like it's that time of year where it happens. You've got Emmanuel Latte Lath stuff floating around. You've got Arthur Cabral stuff floating around. We're waiting on updates on Miguel Almiron and when his return could be happening to Atlanta United. I'm sure there will be a million other things that happen. John Nelson will take care of you on YouTube, on Twitch, on X, on Facebook. Nino Torres and Nico Moreno will be checking in the 10 o'clock hour. I'll be back tomorrow with another edition of the Morning Espresso.